Intricate ornaments might look impossible, but with this simple 3-step process, you'll be able to create them with relative ease. We will make a simple base, give it volume, and then refine it to get a final result. You do not need any prior Blender knowledge to follow this tutorial. And if, at any point in the video, you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment.
Hello everybody, my name is Ali and I'm a professional 3D character artist. Blender and modeling in general can look and feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I will show you the process of how I created this model, starting with basic tools like modifiers, snapping, beveling, creasing, and stuff like that. If you already know these, then perhaps this video would be better for you. It is faster paced and less focused on instruments, and more on the whole process. What I'll do for this video though, is I'll explain basic concepts on a simple sphere like this, and then right after show how they apply to making this model. And if you want to make a mask like I did, I will also show you where you can get a free head model. Also, in case you're here for this nose part, I'm not going to be covering it in this video as it goes into the scope of organic sculpting, which again, if you'd like me to cover, I'd be happy to, just let me know. So, before we begin, this video is gonna have no music, minimal sound effects. I would recommend putting on your favorite background noise in another tab, maybe your lo-fis or your noises, whatever tickles your fancy. So, let's begin. So once you open Blender, you can press middle mouse to rotate around the object. You can hold shift and press middle mouse to pan around the scene, and you can scroll your mouse wheel to zoom in and out of the frame. But whatever is in the starting scene we don't really need. So you can press A, which selects everything, and X, which asks you if you want to delete selected objects. If you want to work on something more complicated than a sphere, you can download literally any head from online, and you can import it into your scene by going to File, Import, and choosing your appropriate format. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna show you the tools on a sphere. Now we need to add a sphere by pressing Shift A, going into Mesh, and choosing a UV sphere. Just look at this beauty. And you might notice that your camera is rotating very weird. To fix that, you go into Edit, Preferences, Navigation, and activate Depth. Now it rotates just fine. Now you might notice the sphere doesn't really have a lot of resolution. So to fix that, we're gonna use one of the main tools of Blender, which are modifiers. You click on this wrench icon, press Add, and type Subdivision Surface. Just sub is fine. What this does is that it basically increases the quality of our mesh. And once I'm satisfied with the results, I can press Ctrl A while hovering over the modifier to apply it to our mesh. And whether you choose to model on a sphere or a head, you might want to make it unselectable so that it doesn't get in the way. And to do that, you go into Filter and activate this icon. And it appears near every object you have in your scene. And once it's deactivated, the object is no longer selectable. Blender has two modes, one of which is object mode, where you can move the whole object, and edit mode, in which you can control individual points, edges, or polygons. You can tell which mode you're in by looking up here, and you can press tab to go into object or edit mode. Now let's also add a plane, which we're gonna use to model the actual ornament. Once you've selected an object, you can press G to grab it and move it. You can press R to rotate it and S to scale it. Up here you can also see colorful axes, and they're not just for show. If you wanna move an object along the Z axis, you can press G, then Z. You can do the same with Y and X axis. And it works for all the functions, like rotate and scale. And now objects also have an origin point, which is this orange dot right here. And that's basically the point around which all the operations are calculated in Blender, like rotation or even some modifiers. Let me show you why it's important. We go into edit mode, we select everything by pressing A, and then we press G to drag this polygon on one side of this origin point. Whoop, almost forgot. You can press 1 to be able to select vertices, which are these points, and you can move them as you would a normal object. You can press 2 to do the same with edges, and you can press 3 to select individual polygons. Practice moving these vertices and edges. You can just go ahead and move them in space. You can even follow the rest of the tutorial by making something in space, just freehand. But if you also want to model a mask on top of a face, you can go up here and activate the snap option. Go into settings right here and select face or face project. Both work fine. And doing that now makes all the vertices, edges, and polygons snap to the nearest surface that it can find. Now, about that origin point, we go ahead and add a mirror modifier, and you can see it mirrors on the both sides of this origin point. I just change the axes to fit what I want. I activate clipping, because if you don't, the surfaces are just gonna phase through one another, and you don't really want that. So you activate clipping, and you've got a nice mirrored surface. Now, once we snap all of the vertices on our surface, we can see that we can't see. And to be able to see what you're modeling, you can go here into Object Properties, into Viewport Display, and activate In Front. You can even change your color here. But dude, I'm changing it. The color in the viewport does not change. Did you just lie to me? No, I didn't.
didn't. For that to take effect, you go right here and activate object. And now the color is displayed as it should. So now let me explain a couple more tools you're going to use. One of which is extrude. You can select an edge, press E, and just drag a newly created polygon. You can do the same with vertices. And if you drag out 2 rows of vertices, you can select an edge that is connecting them and just press F, which is going to fill the space between them. That's how you create additional geometry. You can also select multiple polygons by holding Shift and clicking on them. You can also select a polygon, hold Shift Alt, and click on the next one to select a strip of polygons. And if you want to quickly fill a space between these polyloops, you should go to Add-ons and activate the F2 add-on. What it allows you to do is you can select a vertex, press F, and it's going to extrude another face. You can use that to create additional geometry between the loops. So now we're ready to start making these. Now with these tools, you can create a simple pattern like this. For this one, I modeled something like a heart. I didn't plan to, it's just, kind of cute. And my final basic model looks something like this on a simpler version, and the base of the mask looked like this. Both of them are created with the same tools. Again, no need to overcomplicate it, keep the polygons big, that way it's easier to control them, and because of the next part, the low resolution isn't really gonna matter. Now I'm gonna show you a setup of modifiers that allows me to approximately see how the end result of this model is gonna look like, without having to overcomplicate the actual geometry. You'll see what I mean. We've sketched out the ornament, but it looks kind of flat. To fix that, let's add another modifier, which is called solidify. Once you add it, you can play around with the values and see what it does. Create the thickness that suits you and the result you want. But oh no, there's another problem. It looks too blocky. That's lame. That's not how I visualize the final product. So to fix that, naturally, we want to add a subdivision mod. What the hell is that? Why is it a blob now? Alright, never mind. So to fix that, let's turn off the visibility of subdivision surface modifier in the viewport. So now let's add a bevel modifier, which automatically bevels the corners above a certain degree. You can control the amount to get a little bevel. I went for 0.005. Now let's activate our subdivision again and place it below this bevel. And wow, look at that. It looks really nice, something close to a final result I imagine. Don't mind these little kinks right here, they aren't going to be in the final model. This is just a little issue of having all these modifiers together. Once you start applying them, you will see that it's not going to be there. Oh, and also, once you enter the edit mode after making that modifier setup, you'll see that you can't really see your polygons to work with them. For that, just turn off the display in edit mode right here on all the modifiers, and you're good to go. You'll be able to switch between edit and object mode to see the result. So with that setup in place, we can now go ahead and finalize our model. We can make it as complicated as we want or as simple as we want, but just make sure that the polygons are kind of big because, it's easier to control them. And here's how our models look with modifiers. Here's a sphere and here's a mask. So now let's finalize our model and apply all the modifiers and turn them into actual geometry, which you can then use to continue on your game model or, to present and just render. Now we want to finalize our model and not just have it as a setup of modifiers, but have it as an actual mesh. So to do that, let's start applying the modifiers, starting from solidify. Just hover over it, press Ctrl A to apply it, and that's it. Your mesh is now solid. Mirror, let's keep for now. We want to delete the bevel modifier because, it was basically a dummy modifier so that we can trick the subdivision surface into not smoothing out our angles. What we actually have to do is go into edit mode and start selecting the edges that we need sharp. So to recap, you can select the edge loops by holding Shift Alt and clicking on them. It's gonna select a connected edge loop. Once I've selected all the edges I want, I now need to crease them. And what crease means, if I press Shift E while some edges are selected, and then I drag my mouse, I can see the edges are becoming sharper, and the subdivision modifier is not smoothing them out. When pressing Shift E, you can also give it a value like 1 or -1, which 1 being it will be absolutely sharp, and -1 means that there's not going to be a crease there. So I'm going to crease the edges, but give them the value of 0.9. And I do that so that the edges are a little bit smooth, because no real object in the real world has 100% sharp angles. We can later select the edges that we missed, like these ones, and do the same thing. Press Shift E, type in 0.9, and press Enter. That's it. Then go ahead and play around with the subdivision modifier. You don't have to make it too high resolution if you want to make a game model, or if you want to sculpt on it later. Something around 1 or 2 is going to be enough. You apply the mirror modifier, and you're good to go. Your model is ready. You can now use it to render, to use in your characters, as both a low poly mesh and a base for a high poly. And so now to recap, we've learned how to build a base using simple extrusion techniques. We've learned a setup of modifiers that goes on top of our flat design to make it have volume. Then we applied the modifiers in a correct way and finalized the model. And if you want to see how I made this skull part in the middle, you can check out this video. And you can go here to see how I made this whole character. But
the lesson doesn't end here. And if you have any questions, if anything was unclear, you're welcome to ask away in the comments. And if I won't be able to help you in time, there's some really good guys in the comments these days. Either way, I hope I could help. Cheers!